Welcome to this video on STRIDE and OWASP, important frameworks in the world of cybersecurity. This is part of our CompTIA SecurityX series. Under Section 1.4.3.2, let's start with STRIDE. STRIDE is a threat modeling framework developed by Microsoft. It helps security professionals and developers identify and understand potential threats in a system. The name STRIDE is an acronym. Each letter represents a different type of threat. Let's go through them one by one. The S stands for spoofing identity. This means pretending to be someone else. For example, a hacker might steal a user's login credentials to gain unauthorized access to a system. Next, T stands for tampering with data. This involves changing data without permission. For example, an attacker might alter a database to change prices on an e-commerce site. R stands for repudiation. This occurs when a user performs an action but then denies it. Without proper logging and auditing, it becomes difficult to prove who did what. For instance, a user might delete files and later claim they did not. I is for information disclosure. This happens when sensitive information is exposed to unauthorized users. For example, personal customer data like credit card numbers being leaked is an information disclosure. D stands for denial of service, also known as DOS. This is when an attacker tries to make a system unavailable by flooding it with traffic or causing it to crash. For instance, a website being taken offline due to a flood of fake requests. Finally, E stands for elevation of privilege. This is when an attacker gains more access rights than they should have. For example, a regular user exploiting a vulnerability to become an administrator. Now, why is STRIDE useful? It helps teams think like attackers and identify weak spots early in the software development process. This allows them to build stronger defenses and avoid costly security flaws. Next, let's move on to OWASP. OWASP stands for the Open Web Application Security Project. It is a global community focused on improving the security of software, particularly web applications. OWASP provides free tools, guides, and best practices to help organizations build secure applications. One of the most well-known resources from OWASP is the OWASP Top Ten. This is a list of the 10 most critical web application security risks, updated regularly to reflect the latest threats. Let's briefly review some common items from the OWASP Top 10. First is broken access control. This happens when users can access data or systems they should not be able to. For example, a regular user accessing another user's account information. Next is cryptographic failures. This involves poor encryption practices that can lead to data theft. For instance, storing passwords in plain text instead of using secure hashing. Injection is another common risk. A well-known example is SQL injection, where attackers insert malicious code into a database query to steal or manipulate data. Insecure design refers to flaws in the application's architecture that allow attackers to bypass security measures. Security misconfiguration occurs when systems are not properly configured, leaving them exposed. For example, using default passwords or failing to close and use ports. Using vulnerable components is also a risk. If an application relies on outdated libraries with known vulnerabilities, attackers can exploit those weaknesses. Identification and authentication failures allow attackers to bypass login protections. For example, weak password policies, or poor session management. Software and data integrity failures involve attackers inserting malicious code into updates or applications, which then get deployed to users. Security logging and monitoring failures mean that attacks go undetected because there is insufficient monitoring or alerting. Lastly, server-side request forgery, or SSRF, allows an attacker to make the server perform unintended actions, such as accessing internal services. So why does OWASP matter? It is widely trusted by developers and security professionals around the world. Following OWASP guidelines helps organizations build secure applications, avoid common vulnerabilities, and comply with industry standards and regulations. To summarize, STRIDE helps you model and understand threats during the design phase of software. OWASP provides practical guidance and resources for building secure web applications. Together, these tools are powerful allies for anyone working in cybersecurity or software development. Thank you for watching. In the next video, We will explore more key topics in the CompTIA SecurityX series. Stay tuned.